To make her cheating boyfriend jealous, Noah finds a man to kiss for a photo shoot. Suddenly, her stepbrother Nick grabs her phone and scares the man away. After seeing the photo of her boyfriend kissing her best friend, Nick offers to help her out. He separates his stepsister's legs and kisses her passionately. However, just as Noah gets drunk, he clicks the shutter. As soon as the photo is taken, he mercilessly leaves her to make out with another woman. Noah feels desperate. She sends the intimate photo to her boyfriend and breaks up with him, declaring that she's found a much more exciting man. Shortly after, her ex-boyfriend comes to her. Noah is too embarrassed to argue with him in the presence of her mother, so she makes up an excuse to get rid of him. Then she desperately finds Nick. Once the ex-boyfriend recognizes Nick as the man she kissed, her mother will soon know about it. But Nick isn't worried and won't hide. Upon hearing her ex-boyfriend's voice, Noah pushes her stepbrother into the pool. But that doesn't stop Nick from messing with her ex-boyfriend. Well, at least he's trying to avoid showing his face to his ex-boyfriend. When Noah angrily tells him not to be stupid, he drags her out of the pool with amusement. He forces her against the pool wall and lifts up her skirt. Noah is afraid that the parents and her ex-boyfriend will catch her in the act of incest, but she couldn't resist the flirtations of her philandering stepbrother. While they indulge themselves, her mother catches sight of them on the second-floor balcony. I mean, there's a spark in their eyes right now, but just a few weeks ago they treated each other with nothing but loathing. At the time, 17-year-old Noah had just moved into the country's most extravagant villa. Since her mother, Rafaela, was married to the wealthy William, she had to leave her hometown, her boyfriend and friends. The caring of her stepfather, the help of the servants, and the luxury of it all is too much for her to bear. Instead of being happy, just as she's complaining to her friend on the phone about the lack of lousy sandwiches, her stepfather's son, Nick, makes a cool entrance. He makes fun of her for being from Yokoland and for having a boy's name. Noah's first impression of him is so bad that she leaves. Suddenly, his ferocious dog stops her and barks at her. She hurriedly hides behind her stepbrother, picks up a frying pan and prepares to beat him up. Nick's smile instantly disappears and he orders the dog to sit down. He is surprised that his new sister is so crazy, but he finds the freckles on her face a little cute. To celebrate, the blended family is going to have a dinner party. Unlike the new family, who are dressed up in formal wear, Noah goes out in a t-shirt and stockings. At dinner, his mother compliments Nick on being the perfect son, both as a champion surfer and as an accomplished law student. Nick excuses himself to go to work. Noah, not wanting to be a third wheel, gets up and leaves. In order for the two of them to get along, the parents order Nick to give her a ride home. In the car, the siblings argue about a number of topics. Nick taunts her about how much her mom must love her to put up with her temper. Noah shoots back that he doesn't know anything about a mother's love. She doesn't know it cuts him to the quick. Nick angrily throws her out of the car and drives off, leaving her alone on a deserted road. After being abandoned for a while, Noah flags down a car and asks for a ride. Mario kindly picks her up. Coincidentally, he was acquainted with Nick, so he drops her off at a gang get-together he's attending. However, once she enters the villa, she gets a shock. Turns out that her stepbrother, whom everyone praised, is a smoker, a drinker, and a womanizer in his private life. He left her stranded, but came here to flirt with other women as if nothing had happened. Noah is furious. While he takes a leak, Noah punches him in the face and threatens to tell his father about his dirty doings. Nick is very good at taming a girl with a temper like hers. He ruffles her hair and finds a figure of 8 knot tattooed on her neck.
No hay nudo que se me resista, ¿lo sabías? Con solo besar su tatuaje las tías se deshacen.
But he makes it clear that he likes women, not girls with braids. So he warns her that he won't get in her way as long as she stays out of his way. When she is left alone, his friend Jenna comes up to talk to her and show her around. Jenna then uses the opportunity of making out with her boyfriend to teach her how to hook up with other hot guys. Just as she is sick of Nick drinking salty tequila mixed with sweat from another woman's breast, another gang leader calls out to her. Ronnie, who just got out of jail yesterday, sends his henchman to serve her a Coke. As Noah takes a sip, Nick shows up, pushes him down, and warns them to get lost. He immediately spills the Coke. Noah refuses to accept his help, but she soon becomes dizzy and loses her balance. Nick takes her home and carries her up the stairs. Drugged up, she strokes the muscles of his arm, revealing her fear of the dark. His thoughtfulness makes her feel safe and changes the way she sees him. She's attracted to the mysterious aura of Nick and even spies on him when he's changing and surfing. At night, members of different gangs gather in a field to watch a car race. As a competitor, Nick is confident of victory. But when Noah walks up to the front row in a hot skirt and ponytail, he's distracted for a moment and delays the start of the race. Luckily, his rival's mistake gave him a chance to overtake. just as everyone was cheering for Nick to win this round. Noah received a picture. She then saw her boyfriend sucking on her best friend's face. She was furious and planned to get back at her boyfriend, so she grabbed a stranger and asked him to look into the camera and kiss her. Nick caught the scene and kicked the man out. In order to get her home as soon as possible, he decided to help her arouse her boyfriend's jealousy. No sooner had the shutter been pressed than Nick's lips quickly drew away from her. He gets her in the car and waits for Jenna to drive her home, while he goes off to find another woman to quench his thirst. As the daughter of a rally driver, Noah quickly becomes attracted to this fancy car. She gets in the driver's seat and enjoys the thrill of the engine starting. Suddenly, another gang leader, Ronnie, pulls up next door. He purposely rings the bell for the start of the race. Nick realizes something's wrong and gets out of the car. He trips and falls to the ground before he can even get his pants back on. Noah opens the door and tries to leave. But Ronnie says if no one enters now, he wins. By the time Nick runs to the front row, disheveled, the gun starts to fire. Having grown up watching and being trained by her father, who was a race car driver, Noah quickly gains the upper hand. But she is too naive to realize that Ronnie doesn't follow the rules. As soon as he falls behind, he rams the back of her car. When she wins, he calls them cheaters. Ronnie shamelessly refuses to admit defeat. He says the final was supposed to be between him and Nick broke the rules by putting a woman in the race, so he wins. In order to avoid a war between the two gangs, Nick concedes and gives him the bet €15,000 and the keys to the Porsche. Watching her brother's cowardly behavior, Noah steps up to taunt Ronnie. She wants to make sure that every time he shows off in that sports car, people remember that he was beaten by a woman. Ronnie insults her. That hits a nerve with Nick. As he throws punches at Ronnie, a war breaks out between the gangs. Noah gets scared and crouches down when she hears the fighting. It reminds her of the violence her father used to inflict on her and her mother when she was a child. Jenna realizes she's in trouble and pulls her away from the battle. Nick hears the call and rushes to the car without further ado. But their escape doesn't end the chaos. Ronnie's revenge is just beginning. Meanwhile, Nick is at a loss for words. Because he realizes that kissing his stepsister brings more joy than making out with any other woman. He hasn't been home in 4 days. He's been with his half-sister Maggie. Maggie had a congenital disease, and Nick would come and take care of her whenever he could, even though his mother abandoned him and had a daughter with another man. He doesn't blame her. He just thinks he's a disastrous son. Late at night, as soon as he enters the house, he sees Noah and the dog lying on the couch watching a race. He sits down and says those turns are impossible. Noah replies that it's totally doable. Just put the handbrake on and turn the steering wheel 20 degrees to the right. Then turn it 60 degrees to the left. They kiss each other. Even though they both know it's wrong, they both desperately want to know how they feel about each other. The sound of her mother opening the door prevents them from losing control. Rafaela realizes that she's been depressed lately and thinks she's missing her boyfriend. To surprise her, Rafaela brings her boyfriend Dan over from another city. Rafaela doesn't know that it's more of a horror than a surprise for her. She fears that Dan will recognize Nick as the man she kissed and ratted out to her mother. So she tries to keep Dan from seeing Nick. Dan hasn't seen his face. He's just trying to apologize to her. He says he kissed her friend because he missed her so much. Nick thinks that's a ridiculous lie and splashes him on purpose. Noah can't forgive Dan at all and warns him to pack his bags and leave. Now she's more willing to play her stepbrother's game than be saddened by a scumbag's betrayal. Suddenly, her mother stands on the second-floor balcony and calls out Nick's name. Luckily, the tree trunk covers them both or they'd be caught in the act. As they grow closer, Noah's mood improves. But soon she becomes nervous as she receives an anonymous threatening letter. On the other hand, Ronnie has teamed up with a mysterious person. They share a common goal, which is to make things difficult for the Nick family. After receiving instructions from the mystery man, Ronnie takes action. He drives the red sports car to Nick and asks him to deliver a message to Noah. To protect Noah from harassment, Nick gets into a fight. In the middle of the night, he arrives on the rooftop, bruised and battered. To his surprise, Noah is lying asleep, not with her ex-boyfriend. He notices a scar on her abdomen and tries to cover her up. Noah thinks there's a hoodlum and punches him in the face. After seeing his face covered in scars and blood, Noah urgently sits him down and cleans up the wound. Nick warns her not to go out alone as she's being watched by Ronnie. Noah's hand wanders over his skin, saying she wants to check his sensitivity. They can't help but do something bad again. Before things get out of hand, Dan interrupts them. He finally realizes that there's nothing he can do to get Noah back, and chooses to leave. Just when Noah thinks Nick is her soulmate, she discovers his hidden side. Nick always goes to gang activities. He likes to fight. He used the excitement and danger as a way to let off steam. But it reminds her of her abusive father. She couldn't stand having another violent person in her life, so she rejects and distances herself from Nick. She starts working part-time to earn money and drives herself to school. And to her dismay, more and more anonymous threatening letters arrive in the mail. That day, Nick's father tells Nick all about her past and her trauma. Noah's father had recently been released from prison. He wants Nick to protect her. They both fear retaliation against Noah, because Noah's testimony is the key to convicting her father. So Nick decides to return to Noah's side and watch over her. Unaware of the looming danger, she refuses to forgive him. When she is locked in a closet by a girl with a crush on Nick, she remembers that her father once held up a knife and demanded to know where her mother was. Nick hears her screams and rescues her just in time to bring her home. He now finally understands why she was so disgusted by the sight of him fighting. In order to calm her down, Nick cuddles her and lies quietly with her for the rest of the night. The time of happiness flies. When the dark sky reveals the blue morning light, Nick is ready to leave. Suddenly his father opens the door and bursts in. William freezes for a moment. But he doesn't blame Nick because there are more important things waiting for him. It turns out Nick's half-sister was hospitalized. Nick is terrified when he hears that his half-sister almost lost her heartbeat due to severe shock. He hates the idea of losing someone he loves again. So he kisses Noah and makes an apology to her. Now that his father knew about their affair, he only hopes Noah's mother will understand. But Noah refuses to be with him forever. Because she doesn't want to hurt her mother or destroy the happiness she found from her father. Nick respects her choice. They decide to have one last night of fun and wait until the sun comes up to break up. So they leave evidence and traces of their love on the beach, under the moonlight. And in this world, when the sun is about to rise, Nick runs into the convenience store to buy something, leaving Noah in the car. Ronnie takes this opportunity to kidnap her and put her in a sports car. By the time Nick finishes paying, Noah has disappeared without a trace. Shortly after, Noah comes back to consciousness. To her horror, it turns out her father, Jonas, was behind it all. Jonas makes a phone call to her mother. He hates her for not visiting him once in prison and is jealous of her new rich husband. He offers them a ransom of 1 million euros and sets up a meeting place. Jonas and Ronnie know each other because they were once in the same prison cell. But even the best of cellmates can't compete with the love of a father and daughter. When Jonas learns that his daughter defeated Ronnie in a race, he's very proud. To prevent his daughter from being bullied by Ronnie, he knocks Ronnie unconscious and ties her up. The next day, Rafaela and William arrive at the kidnapper's location with a large amount of cash. The police are sitting in Nick's car, keeping watch. Suddenly, Nick remembers he's still paying the insurance on the red sports car. Since Noah was dragged away in the red sports car, he could use the insurance tracker to locate Noah. When he follows the location to the garage, the red sports car bursts through the door. Threatened by his father, Noah drives the car to overtake the others and goes around the traffic circle. When they get in front of Rafaela, Jonas pulls the trigger. Luckily, the bullet is stopped by her current husband with millions in cash. Jonas hates his ex-wife and daughter and wants to destroy their happiness for the rest of their lives. If they hadn't put him in jail, his career would have continued and he wouldn't have lost the thing he loved most in the world, his car. Nick and the cops drive in from the front and back and force them into a dock. Noah pulls up at the end of the harbor and stares at Nick face to face. They reading each other's thoughts, remembering the earlier discussion of 2060. So they hit the gas and suddenly pull on the handbrake, with the steering wheel turning 20 degrees to the right and then 60 degrees to the left. They lower their heads. The police shoot Jonas dead. Eventually Ronnie is arrested and put back in jail, and Noah is rescued. When they return home, Nick sneaks into Noah's room and spends the night with her. The two snuggled up to each other, expecting to spend the rest of their lives in each other's arms. Little did they know that Rafaela and William were watching from across the room. Rafaela strongly disapproves of them being together. She intends to do something to break them up. This is Maroon Recap. If there's a movie you'd like to watch, feel free to leave a comment and let me know. Let's watch a movie together and experience something different. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.